Imagine this scenario. A woman sees a premonition of her own horrible death. She warns people around her, preventing tragic events and saving many lives. What she didn't know at the time is that death doesn't like to be cheated and soon goes after the people she saved, along with their descendants that were never meant to be born.
Death is coming for our family.
The story begins in 1969. A young couple in love, Iris and Paul, joyfully take a ride in their red Chevy Impala to attend the opening of the Sky View, an impressive brand new high-rise restaurant tower. Iris is overwhelmed by the prospect of going all the way up. They walk towards the entrance and take a photo together for memories. Once inside the building, Iris starts feeling dizzy. She is reluctant to go inside the crowded elevator. Persuaded by Paul, she changes her mind and walks inside. She is further scared by the elevator door that malfunctioned right before they were about to go up. While riding the elevator, Iris notices several scary details that add to her fear. The maximum capacity of the elevator is only 6 adults, and yet there are almost twice as many of them inside. The elevator operator proudly announces to guests that the tower was finished 5 months ahead of schedule, making Iris doubt the quality of its construction. The metal bars of the elevator's cabin dangerously vibrate during its movement, and on top of that, an annoying kid kept jumping on the glass floor. Iris and Paul finally arrive upstairs and try to get a table. Unfortunately, the reservation that Paul got them earlier got canceled. Despite Paul's attempts to persuade the host, he denies giving them a table. Sneaking behind the distracted host, Iris and Paul walk towards the window and enjoy the breathtaking view. They seem to have a good time, but looking down at the city through the window, Iris starts panicking again and excuses herself to go to the bathroom, fighting the urge to throw up. As she walks, she notices the metal bars supporting the tower vibrating dangerously. However, she didn't notice a piece of the chandelier that fell down and caused a crack in the glass floor. After leaving the bathroom, Iris has a lovely chat with a restaurant singer, admitting to her that she is pregnant but hasn't told Paul yet. Later, she and Paul go to get some fresh air at the very top of the tower, looking down at the entire city as the refreshing wind blows behind their backs. The annoying kid from earlier starts throwing down pennies. Even after the policeman tells him to stop, he ignores him and continues the dangerous activity. Iris was about to reveal the pregnancy to Paul when he suddenly interrupted her, telling her that he loves her. He proposes marriage to her. She happily accepts, telling Paul about the baby. He is very happy about the news.
I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
While leaving the rooftop, Iris notices the kid throwing down yet another penny. The wind carries it into the ventilation of the building, where it jams one of the fans. Back in the restaurant, Iris and Paul happily join the dancing crowd, unaware that while they're dancing, the crack in the glass floor is spreading. Furthermore, the bolts holding the supporting metal bars together are getting loose from the vibration and fall out. The fan that was blocked by the coin earlier breaks down, and one of the pieces pierces the pipe carrying a flammable gas, causing a dangerous leak. Iris and Paul enjoy dancing to the catchy 60s tune, unaware that the flammable gas is entering the room. The glass floor is getting increasingly damaged from the vibration. Suddenly, Iris stops and notices the cracked floor, but it's too late. It breaks, causing everyone directly under the crack to fall to their demise. Paul grabbed a large piece of glass, but unable to hold on, he lets go and falls down too. As people start running in panic, the entire restaurant blows up when flammable gas reaches the right concentration. Iris and the few lucky survivors rush to evacuate through the stairs, only to witness the entire section of the building collapse, causing more casualties. The survivors then comically cram into the elevator, fighting for the chance to leave first. The overcrowded elevator breaks off from its restraints, dooming everyone inside. Horrified by these events, Iris starts running in panic. She suddenly hears strange noises and stops. The entire structure of the tower begins to collapse, causing people to slide down. Iris holds onto the floor and starts climbing up. She tries to help another survivor, but the woman falls down onto the glass window along with the other survivors. Iris is safe for now. She and the people below observe the strangest occurrence. Because of the inclination of the tower, the piano starts sliding down. It stops right on the edge, ready to fall down any second. In the most unlikely twist, the penny coin from before was thrown by the explosion earlier onto the chandelier. Now, it suddenly falls on the piano, causing it to lose balance and slide down, crushing the people down below. A large piece of the tower breaks off and falls down. Amazingly, Iris is still alive. As the remainders of the structure collapse all around her, she tries to help another survivor, a small boy who hid under the table. The two grab onto the very edge of the tower remains, as the restaurant circle goes down in flames and crashes onto the ground, causing a huge explosion. Held by nothing but her wedding ring, Iris falls down along with the boy. Turns out all of this was a dream seen by the college student Stephanie Reyes in the modern day. Lately, she's been having this horrific dream every time she goes to sleep, turning her life into a nightmare. Stephanie reveals to her roommate that Iris, the woman from her nightmare, must be her estranged grandmother, whom she never met. But obviously, these events never took place. Seeking answers, Stephanie drives back to her hometown. She goes to her house where she is greeted by her father, Marty. Stephanie starts looking for her mother's photo albums, seeking confirmation of the identity of the mysterious woman from her dreams. Surprised by her sudden interest in her grandmother, Marty tells Stephanie that he got rid of her mother's albums when she left them years ago. Stephanie has a younger brother, Charlie, who is still in high school and lives with their father. She agrees to drive Charlie to their cousins on their mother's side because she needs to find information about Iris. In the car, Stephanie tells her brother about the dreams she's been having. They arrive at their uncle's house and meet with their cousins, Eric, Bobby, and Julia, after which Stephanie goes to talk to her Aunt Brenda and her Uncle Howard, who might know how to reach Iris. Still bitter about his childhood, Howard reluctantly admits to Stephanie that his mother, Iris, is mentally ill. He and Stephanie's mother, Darlene, grew up in an overprotective, isolated environment because she was constantly paranoid about all the horrific ways in which they could die. He advises Stephanie to let go of the matter, refusing to give her Iris's contact information.
That woman is a sick and dangerous person.
Despite Howard's objections, Stephanie is adamant about her intention to meet Iris and find out the truth. She begs Brenda to help her. Brenda reluctantly tells Stephanie where they hid the letters Iris was sending to Howard, containing her last known address. One of the letters contains the photo Iris and Paul took when they entered Skyview, confirming Stephanie's suspicion that her dream is real, at least to some degree. Stephanie drives to the address. It's a secluded residence in the middle of the woods. She arrives at the gates of the house that are surrounded by a defensive perimeter made of sharpened wooden spikes. Stephanie calls Iris on a video phone and asks her to let her in. After telling Stephanie to leave her keys and phone outside, Iris opens the gates for her. Stephanie is getting scared by the disturbingly creepy atmosphere of the residence. Nevertheless, she approaches the door and goes inside. Iris carefully approaches her, advising her not to make any sudden moves. Stephanie tells her about the dream she's been having. Iris explains that it's not just a dream, it was her premonition. She saw what death was about to do, so she prevented these events. She took away the kid's penny coin and rushed downstairs to alert the dancing crowd about the crack in the floor.
The glass is about to break! Everyone needs to get off now!
People were evacuated, and the poorly constructed restaurant was shut down permanently. However, what Iris didn't know at the time is that all the people she saved that day, including Paul, would start dying one by one shortly afterwards, in the most unlikely horrific accidents. It led Iris to believe that death doesn't like it when people try to cheat it by changing the future. Iris has been living in this house for 20 years, refusing death any chance to take her. But now she is terminally ill with cancer. Iris notices that the flowerpot rope in her house is being burnt by the shining light coming through the lens, deflected by a metal tray. She pushes away the lens, making fun of Death's attempt to kill her with a falling flowerpot. Iris shows Stephanie the book containing all her research on the subject, including the names of every survivor of Skyview and how they died. She theorizes that the reason why Stephanie has been having these dreams is that she's about to die, and after her death, her descendants will be the next to go, as they were never meant to exist.
Death is coming for our family.
Freaked out by her grandmother's seemingly crazy story, Stephanie leaves the house. Iris chases her and tries to make her stay and learn about death. Realizing all the possible ways death can fall upon her outside, Iris is reluctant to leave the house, but she decides to go for it. She gives Stephanie the book and tells her to step back and watch. A second after she said that, a weather vane falls down onto the gas tank that propels it into Iris, killing her instantly. Later, the family members attend Iris's funeral. Despite of what happened, Stephanie is still skeptical about Iris's claims that death is after their entire family. Surprisingly, Darlene, Stephanie's mother, arrives on her RV and reunites with the family. Resenting her for abandoning them, Stephanie leaves the funeral. Back at her house, Stephanie starts reading the book Iris gave her earlier, learning about all the possible ways death can strike in the everyday life. Sometime later, Howard and his family have a barbecue. Marty and Darlene attended as well. While cleaning the glasses, Bobby accidentally breaks one of them. He cleans it up but misses a piece of the glass that conveniently fell into the ice, making it hard to see. Unaware of the danger, the family members put ice in their drinks. Meanwhile, in Stephanie's house, a picture of her family falls down and breaks. A broken piece of glass gives her a clue that the next death will have something to do with glass. While Howard spends time with Darlene, his kids bounce hard on the trampoline that has a garden rake underneath it. the trampoline is getting increasingly damaged by the hard jumps. Unable to reach her family on the phone, Stephanie drives to warn them. While driving, she notices a sign, "Danger Ahead," which she interprets as another warning from the universe. Persuaded by the family, Howard joins his kids on the trampoline. Darlene notices the rake under the trampoline and removes it. While serving food, Brenda accidentally pushes a bottle of beer that falls onto a button that activates the water timer. Filled with water, the hose starts moving the gardening tools in its way. Stephanie arrives at Howard's house. She immediately starts looking for the possible dangers. Suddenly, Bobby breaks through the trampoline. Distracted by this, Julia accidentally spills the drink that had a piece of glass in it. Howard steps on the glass. Meanwhile, the rake falls down on the lawnmower, setting it in motion. As Howard falls from his injury, the lawnmower goes over his face. Everyone screams in terror. After Howard's funeral, Stephanie works hard, analyzing the information Iris collected over the years. She notices a reference to a person called JB, who found someone who managed to defeat death. Later, Stephanie gets the entire family together and presents her findings to them. Iris was right. Every single person who was at Skyview that day later died in unlikely accidents similar to Howard's death. Not only that, but they also died in the same order they died in the premonition. And each time before moving to the next survivor, death eliminated every descendant of the person. Since Iris was the last to die in the premonition, it's finally the turn of her family. Howard is dead. Now his children will die from the oldest to the youngest. Then it's Darlene's turn. Then it's Stephanie and Charlie. Members of the family don't take Stephanie seriously, thinking that she has lost her mind over her paranoid delusions, just like Iris did. Eric, the oldest son of Howard, works in a tattoo shop. After serving the last customer of the day, he is about to close up. Before going home, he uses alcohol to properly disinfect the equipment. He turns on the fan on the ceiling. Feeling sad about his father's demise, Eric puts on some sad music and uses a tattoo gun to give himself a tattoo saying, "Dad." The vibration from a speaker causes a glass to break. Reacting to the breaking sound, Eric accidentally knocks over the open alcohol container, causing the alcohol to spill all over the floor. Eric cleans up the broken glass. Meanwhile, in the most unlikely manner, one of the chains on the ceiling falls off. It goes down, landing on Eric's face and attaching itself to his nose ring. As the spinning fan continues wrapping the chains around itself, Eric desperately tries to free himself from the chains. He stands on the chair to give himself more time, but accidentally knocks over a lamp that breaks over the spilled alcohol, causing a fire. Shocked by the unlikely turn of events, Eric nevertheless manages to get the chains off his nose ring, but then he falls down directly into the fire. In the morning, Stephanie is getting worried that she can't reach Eric. She and Charlie drive to find him. Distracted by talking to her brother, Stephanie almost runs over Eric. Surprisingly, he survived the accident, barely receiving any injuries from the fire as his leather jacket protected him. Eric makes fun of Stephanie's paranoia, only to almost die again in a car accident. They walk around the neighborhood. Stephanie keeps seeing danger everywhere, speculating that the trimmer can fall and hit the leaf blower guy, which will cause him to blow leaves onto the kid's eyes, which will cause the kid to hit someone with a ball. Continuing mocking Stephanie, Eric approaches the garbage truck and literally begs for death to take him. Nothing happens. But then Julia goes for a run. In the most comical twist, everything happens exactly like Stephanie predicted earlier, causing Julia to fall into the garbage bin and be put inside the garbage compartment. Stephanie, Charlie, and Eric chase the garbage truck and yell at the driver, but he's listening to loud music in his headphones and doesn't pay attention to the mirrors, too busy swiping on his phone. The garbage compactor is getting closer. As Charlie and Eric try to block the truck, Stephanie climbs onto the truck and gives her hand to Julia. They stop the truck, but it's too late. Julia gets crushed by the compactor. After Julia's death, the family can no longer ignore what's going on and admit that Stephanie was right. Explaining why death skipped Eric, the oldest child of Howard, Brenda reluctantly reveals that Eric wasn't his biological son. She had an affair with another man, so Eric isn't part of Iris's bloodlines. Refusing to just sit and wait for death to strike again, Stephanie and the rest decide to track down JB, the person mentioned in Iris's book. Darlene remembers that earlier in her letters, Iris mentioned that JB worked at the Hope River Hospital located in Cloverdale, New York. They depart to meet him. Outside the house, Stephanie and Darlene make sure that there are no immediate dangers to Bobby, who is next in line. They sit in Darlene's RV and drive to Hope River, trying to build a connection with Stephanie, who still resents her for abandoning the family. Darlene reveals that she only left Stephanie and her brother because she didn't want them to suffer from the death paranoia she inherited from Iris. They arrive at the Hope River Hospital and carefully walk inside, where they are directed by staff to the morgue. In the morgue, they finally meet William John Bloodworth, also known as JB to his friends. At this point, it's worth mentioning that this movie, Final Destination Bloodlines, is the 6th movie of the franchise, and throughout the years, William Bloodworth appeared in almost every Final Destination movie, advising the main characters on how to beat death. William reveals that he was there 55 years ago at Skyview. He witnessed Iris saving everyone's life on that day, becoming a good friend of hers later in life. They worked together to analyze how death works. He was the child whom Iris saved in her premonition right before they both fell to their demise. Since JB was the last to die in the vision, he is the next in line after all of Iris's descendants are dead. He explains to the family that there are only 2 ways to defeat death: taking another life, prolonging your own as a result, or being clinically dead and then resuscitated, citing Kimberly Corman from Final Destination 2. However, both ways are risky and don't give any guarantees. Tired of running from death, William, who also has cancer, advises the family to enjoy every second of life and wishes them good luck. Ignoring everyone else, Eric persuades Bobby to attempt the resuscitation procedure. Since Bobby is allergic to peanuts, Eric wants him to eat something with nuts to cause a fatal allergic reaction. For some reason, the vending machine malfunctions. Enraged by the malfunction, Eric freaks out and starts pushing the machine, almost making it fall on Bobby. One of the metal springs sticks out from the damage. Once they receive the nuts, they go into the neighboring room and Eric leaves. The slamming door makes the chart fall on the keyboard, activating the MRI machine in the room. Bobby notices the noises made by the machine as it starts lighting up. Eric goes back into the room and tells Bobby to sit in a wheelchair and eat the nuts. He hesitates, but Eric convinces him that this is the only way to beat death. He eats the nuts and starts suffocating. They don't notice that all this time, the MRI machine has been charging out of control. Being a powerful magnet, it pulls Eric's smartphone towards itself and then pulls out his metal piercings. As the charge goes even higher, the MRI machine pulls the metal wheelchair, grabbing Eric along with it. The chair crushes Eric, while Bobby has a severe allergic reaction, unable to help. The magnet starts pulling objects outside of the room. Bobby crawls to get allergy medication out of Eric's hand. He injects himself with it barely in time. A nurse walks into the room, confused about what's happening. Suddenly, a spring from the vending machine flies into Bobby's head, killing him instantly. Since Darlene is next in line, she and her kids decide to drive to Iris's cabin in the woods, as it is the safest place for them now. They departed in the RV, but almost hit a truck immediately after they started driving. After a long drive, the 3 finally arrive at the cabin. As they approach the gates of the house, the lights switch on automatically, but one of them malfunctions. Refusing to go on foot, Stephanie decides to ram the gates. Once inside, she stops the car, unaware that a falling wrench locked her seatbelt. She tries to leave the seat, only to realize that the lock is jammed. Stephanie tells the other 2 to get into the cabin. Meanwhile, inside the cabin, a flower pot falls on the gas stove, filling the cabin with gas. A spark from the malfunctioning light goes inside, causing the cabin to explode. The explosion pushes the RV into a pond. The vehicle is quickly filled with water, endangering Stephanie's life as she's still trapped by the seatbelt. Meanwhile, Charlie is trapped under debris of the house and can't get out. Darlene sets him free, but then a lamppost falls on her head, crushing her instantly. Stephanie begins to drown. Charlie goes into the RV to save his sister. He gets a knife and tries to cut the belt, but struggles to do it. Stephanie loses consciousness. She awakens shortly afterwards, resuscitated by Charlie. The 2 rejoice because now that Stephanie died and was brought back to life, the cycle of death is broken. They leave the burning cabin and go back home. Sometime later, Charlie gets ready for his prom. Charlie and Stephanie happily go to Charlie's date's house where they meet her father. Being a physician, he clarifies that if Charlie was able to get Stephanie breathing again, then she wasn't clinically dead, as she was resuscitated before the cardiac arrest. The siblings realize now that they were celebrating prematurely. Stephanie notices that Charlie's date is wearing a dress similar to the dress Iris wore to Skyview. She also notices a red 1960s Chevy Impala going by, the same car Iris and Paul had in 1969. A second later, a train nearby derails and crushes through the streets at Charlie and Stephanie as they try to run away, but they can't and are soon smashed by the huge wooden logs that flew towards them from the back of the train. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.